Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanek, Robert Paris, and John Vias, Peter Brown with the weather, and Maddie Shipka with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us. There was a heavy police presence in a number of Burlington neighborhoods in the Wynn Street area near the Woburn line on Tuesday night. At approximately 8:15 p.m. on July 24th, police were dispatched to the Burlington Mall parking lot after a man called 911 to report that he'd interrupted a group of men who were attempting to steal his motorcycle. The caller also reported that upon being spotted, the multiple black males who were allegedly involved fled the scene in a silver Honda Civic. Police say detectives located the Honda a short time later on Wynn Street and began to follow the vehicle, which was determined to be stolen, and relayed its location to fellow officers as it traveled into Woburn. The suspects then began to flee from two marked Burlington police cruisers, resulting in a brief pursuit on Route 128 southbound into Lexington. Out of concern for the safety of all involved, including other motorists and the suspects, the pursuit was called off. As an officer exited the highway and turned onto the northbound side to return to Burlington, the suspect's vehicle passed him at a high rate of speed heading northbound. A short time later, the officers observed that the vehicle had crashed near the Wynn Street off-ramp and that none of the occupants were in the area. Due to the location of the crash, Burlington Police contacted the Mass State Police to join the investigation. A subsequent search of the surrounding area, which included the use of helicopters and police K-9s for the 3 to 5 suspects, was unsuccessful. During the search effort, State Police detained an individual who was later released without charge. State Police took custody of the vehicle involved in the pursuit and crash. The investigation into this incident remains active and ongoing. The Burlington Police Department is asking the public's assistance in identifying and locating two suspects wanted for shoplifting and using counterfeit money. According to police information sharing site mostwanted.org, the suspect pictured here allegedly stole $5,000 worth of merchandise from Lord & Taylor in the Burlington Mall on July 16th. The suspect is described as male with a small build, short stature, and light complexion. The other suspect pictured here was allegedly buying items and counterfeit bills from Nordstrom in the Burlington Mall on July 19th. The suspect is described as a female with small build, medium stature, and dark complexion. Anyone with any information is encouraged to call the Burlington Police Department at 781-272-1212. The Burlington School Department will be before town meeting this September to request funds to cover a deficit in the fiscal year 2018 budget. Superintendent Eric Conti informed the school committee this week that there were more expenses in FY18 than had been budgeted for in the amount of roughly $1.7 million. Conti said these expenses included $200,000 in employee stipends, $220,000 for substitute teachers, $400,000 for maintenance, and $600,000 in special education transportation, as well as some extra expenses for elementary school tutors. Conti said stipends are difficult to predict because when the budget was created, there were ongoing negotiations with the teachers' union. He also said there was a bigger need for substitute teachers this year because a more than usual number of teachers were out on maternity and paternity leave, 35 in total compared to the average of 20. In the previous 2 fiscal years, the school department had similar, though smaller, deficits in some of its accommodated accounts. However, in those years, leftover funds in the department's operating budget, as well as funds in the revolving accounts, were able to cover the bills when they came in. In FY18, those sources were not sufficient to cover what had been expended. Members of the school committee expressed concern about the situation, but ultimately voted to approve the warrant article for September. They did, however, say that moving forward, they want more regular updates about the school budget and where the department finances stand. They suggested implementing monthly meetings with the business office to better keep the committee informed on the budget. Ways and Means Committee will also be interested in doing that as well. The Burlington Parks and Recreation Department is gearing up for their biggest event of the summer, Celebrate Burlington. BNEWS reporter Robert Paris went to get more info on what residents can expect this year and has this preview.
One of the biggest events of the summer is coming this August. This week I went down to the town common to talk to Parks and Recreation Director Brendan Egan about the upcoming event, Celebrate Burlington.
The event is Saturday, August 4th, so it's coming up. The main event goes all day, so it's 11 to 9. It's a 10-hour event, 10 plus. from 11 to 4 is our main Celebrate Burlington carnival type atmosphere with all the inflatables on the common and performances. And then there's a short break from 4 to 5. From 5 to 7, we have a car show over at Simon's Park on the front hill. And then from 7 to 9, we have a concert right here on the common, followed by fireworks. I do want to let everyone know this year the fireworks will be launched from the Burlington High School practice field. So we'll have a change in direction of where people will be looking. So instead of looking back towards the Grandview Farm, this year we're going to be focused back on the high school.
Unfortunately, the weather was not cooperative at last year's event.
Obviously, every year we hope for great weather. So this year we're hoping for an improvement on last year. But we've really lucked out over the years. It's never really had to cancel much of anything. So this year we're hoping for another good weather day.
There is always something new and exciting at Celebrate Burlington.
We have some new inflatables this year. We have Monkey Madness, which is a climbing inflatable, which should be pretty cool, as well as Triple Indy, which is another inflatable. So we're excited about those. And then this year we've added a second performance stage. So we're going to do that behind me up towards the police station, the end of Sears Street. Up there in the shade, but that second performance stage will run from 11:30 to 3:30, and it will be children's performances. So it's a great place to go, get out of the big hustle bustle of the main part of the event and kind of go off and see some children's performances. We do ask that during the event all day that you park in legal spots around town. Please don't obstruct traffic or park illegally.
Finally, the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department is always providing family-friendly events for all ages.
Obviously, this is our largest special event that we do throughout the year. We hope, like with all of our special events, people take away a good time with their family and friends, because that's what it's about. It's a way for the town to get together and celebrate everything that Burlington has to offer, from our parks, in our programs with the Parks and Recreation Department, to the restaurants and the conservation lands and the town properties, and just everything that Burlington has.
From the Town Common, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Proposed changes to a big part of the Burlington Mall are one step closer to becoming a reality. Last Thursday, the Burlington Planning Board approved an application for a site plan for the former Sears and Sears Automotive sites at the mall. The biggest change will be on the first floor of the Sears building. Rather than keeping it as a large single-use retail location, the plan calls for expanding the mall corridor into the existing space and creating numerous small retail and restaurant locations. Those behind the project say this change will help the Burlington Mall stay up to date in terms of current trends and meeting the desires of customers. Simon Property Group, the entity that owns the mall, is also looking to demolish the Auto Center and create a 35,000 square foot building for small retail and restaurant locations. They will also build a pedestrian-friendly connection between the two buildings and make improvements to landscaping and green space. Members of the Planning Board have been receptive to the project and have worked with Simon Property over the past few months to get everything in place so the project works both for the town and for the mall. Some of the conditions they set for approval included a sidewalk on the mall road that will connect an existing sidewalk to Middlesex Turnpike, as well as enhancements to sidewalks and pedestrian crosswalks on the mall property. There will also be a new bus stop in the parking lot on the side facing the district. When asked about possible restaurants for the new space, proponents of the project said their intent is to focus family restaurants that don't have the high price point of some of the higher-end establishments that have opened in town the past few years. Finally, there was a lengthy discussion on whether the former Sears retail section, which will become an extension of the mall, will have an entrance directly onto the mall corridor. Currently, the plans have customers entering one of the stores or restaurants that will have both indoor and outdoor access and cutting through them. Board member Barbara LaRue argued that many customers would feel more comfortable having an entrance into the mall rather than cutting through a business. In the end, the board voted to include a condition that the mall should first try and find a way to make an exclusive entrance, part of the plan. But that if they come up with another solution they think will work for their customers, there is language in the agreement saying they can apply for small engineering change before the board. There is no discussion so far as to where they hope to acquire that many additional liquor licenses. In other Burlington Mall news, another restaurant has closed its doors. Besito, the high-end Mexican restaurant that moved into the mall in 2014, closed shop last week, according to reporting from the Boston Restaurant Talk blog. Pasito is the most recent Burlington restaurant to be closed. Earlier this year, Uno's Pizzeria in the mall also closed. Bobby Flay's closed as well, as did Chili's on Middlesex Turnpike. A Yard House has filed paperwork with the town to take over the Chili's location. Pasito was one of 2 higher-end Mexican restaurants in Burlington. The other, Temescal, is located at 2 Wall Street in the former Paparazzi location, which also closed. Burlington Education Summer Theater goes to Harvard Law with their junior presentation of the hit movie turned Broadway musical Legally Blonde Junior. BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak went to check a rehearsal and has this look.
As this is happening.
Order in the court. Burlington's multi-talented kids presiding. For close to a decade, the Burlington Education Summer Theater has produced full-blown junior versions of hit Broadway musicals. This year's offering, Legally Blonde Junior. Helmed once again by director Warren Scott Friedman and choreographer Thomas Hardy.
Okay, here we go. Hit.
With a cast of 70, this performance program has gained quite a following.
I started doing shows when I was in first grade, and then a couple of my friends were doing Seussical, so I came next year and I was in Shrek.
I've been doing Best for a long time, and it's really like a fun thing to do over the summer. I'm always like anticipating or waiting for school to end so I can be, oh, I'm going to Best now, because it's always like the really fun experience for me.
Well, my parents didn't think I was going to like it the first year when I was going into 5th grade, so I did it the next year because my sister, she was doing acting before I did, and then I got kind of jealous, so I wanted to be like her because she's more the actor.
I've always enjoyed theater, and when I started actually doing it was around like first grade and kindergarten, and I just started getting leads in this year, and this is my second year with Best.
I started 2 years ago in Shrek, and I've just been doing a lot of community theater since then, and this is my 3rd and final year with Best, and I'm glad to be back and finish off strong with them.
I asked the young thespians about their process.
I've been like watching clips of other junior productions on YouTube and just like constantly having the recordings on at my house and this.
It's kind of relatable. It's more of like the kind of teenage personality. Like it's not like for grown-ups or there's like everybody dying or something. It's more like oh hey, put on the makeup and text everybody. It's all like the teenager stuff, so it's really relatable.
We still love you.
It's good. Watch the movie, then watch us, because we're good.
It's a really fun show filled with like a lot of singing and dancing, and it's really involved. It's just a really fun experience, and you all should come see it.
From the Fogelberg Performing Arts Center, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak. Back to you in the studio.
In an effort to keep the roads safe, the Mass State Police will be on the lookout for intoxicated drivers this weekend. According to the State Police, they will hold a sobriety checkpoint somewhere in Middlesex County on Saturday, July 29th into Saturday, July 28th into July 29th. Colonel Kerry A. Gilpin, Superintendent of the Mass State Police, said the purpose is to further educate the motoring public and strengthen the public's awareness of the need of detecting and removing those motorists who operate under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs from our roadways. Colonel Gilpin added that the checkpoint will be operated during varied hours. The selection of vehicles will not be arbitrary. Safety will be assured, and any inconvenience to motorists will be minimized with advance notice to reduce fear and anxiety. Burlington's Sunrise Senior Living had some furry four-legged guests this weekend. Rescue dogs from Great Dog Rescue New England were there for a meet and greet with individuals and families looking to adopt them into their new forever homes. BNews reporter John Vias was there and files this report.
Get those tails wagging. On Saturday, June 21st, Great Dog Rescue New England paid a visit to the Sunrise Center on Mall Road for a community meet and greet, giving foster dogs a chance to find a new home. Great Dog Rescue New England is a non-profit shelterless all-breed rescue group headquartered in Massachusetts, comprised of volunteers from all over New England who love dogs and want to help those that end up homeless through no fault of their own.
Our mission is to find great homes for all the homeless dogs that are that we work with Southern Rescues down south and local surrenders as well. Our mission is to try to find loving, forever homes for all of these wonderful dogs and puppies to live the life that they deserve.
We're based out of Woburn, Massachusetts, but we are a shelterless rescue, so all of our dogs that have not been adopted yet go into foster families.
Great Dog Rescue is dedicated to making sure no dog in New England is left behind. They've helped many a dog find their way to a happier life.
Last year we rescued 1,600 dogs, and this year I think we're probably going to be closer to about 2,000. Since the rescue started, which was about 12 years ago, we are well over 11,000 dogs that have been adopted through Great Dog Rescue New England, so we're pretty proud of finding homes for that many dogs.
Their mission will never stop as long as there are more foster dogs to take care of. Their goal is to meet the needs of each dog as an individual and to assure proper placement in a loving forever home.
We're not stopping anytime soon. We wish we could, but the homeless population is just still so extreme that there's always, unfortunately, a need to keep rescuing dogs and finding them homes. But hopefully, things will get better.
And where can the people of Burlington learn more about Great Dog Rescue New England, and how can they get involved?
We are always looking for more foster homes and more volunteers, and people who are interested in adopting can all go to our website for more information, and it's www.gdrne.com.
You can go on our pet finder through there, and any dog that you see, you fill out an application online, and there is a question there where you put the dog's name, and then you get an email contact through our organization, and from there you do a phone interview, reference check, and a home visit as well, and then contract and payment, and you get your dog.
From Sunrise of Burlington, I'm John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
Continuing on the subject of dogs, once they are adopted, a family might want them to get some obedience training. This week, the Burlington Public Library hosted Mike Wagreich of K-9 East to give a dog training demonstration to enthusiastic viewers. BNews Director Rich Hosford was there and has this report.
The meeting room at the Burlington Public Library was full of families on Thursday evening to meet a local dog lover and his canine friend. Mike Wagreich, owner of K-9 East, was there with Enzo for a demonstration on dog training, obedience, and the ways humans and canines interact. Mike took his early love for dogs and made it into a career.
Always had dogs since I was a little kid, always loved them. We've had family dogs, so I just being around that, and they were always like my go-to to talk to. You know, they just, it's unconditional love. So I just loved animals from day one, and then as I got older, I just really liked learning like the capabilities of what the dogs could do, and just seeing how much they could do with working dogs, and you know, things that they were capable of. So then it developed to then when I was starting to teach and show other people, and I just always loved animals and really found that the more you can do with them, just a better relationship, you know, for everybody.
Mike works with both professional dogs like police, drug enforcement, and rescue canines, as well as with family pets. Though the training is different depending on the type of dog, there are some basics he teaches to all the pups owned by his clients.
Typically, we start with like basic obedience, so we start with like the on-leash voice commands for sit, stay, down, heel, and come. Just the basics, and then the typical problems are like pulling on the leash, jumping, chewing, mouthing, you know, just typical things that dogs do. So it's teaching people how to channel that onto something constructive.
Mike also has a lot of information for dog owners, and one of the ways he shares it is through programs like the one at the library. He said people have a lot of misperceptions about dogs and obedience training, and he wants to help them learn the truth.
People have questions. There's a lot of myths. Like with the working dogs, like the drug dogs, you used to always get like, oh, do the dogs get addicted to the drugs? And it's just, you know, you get these wives' tales or myths, and it's just knowledge. You know, it's just people getting information, and that's hopefully where I can help them as far as questions. So it's just kind of educating people, and the end result is that more dogs and families are going to be happy together.
He also has some advice for new dog owners.
Just research. There's a lot of info out there. There's a lot of stuff on the internet, and there's a lot of books. And you know, you have to remember, I mean, everybody's a dog trainer. You know, like with certain things, everybody, oh, I'm the professional with this. You're the spokesperson for your dog. If you're working with someone and you feel uncomfortable, if the dog's not happy, then that should be a red flag.
Finally, if you want to learn more about Mike and K-9 East, you can find him online and reach him by phone.
I could be reached at K-9 East. I have a website, k9east.com, and my phone number is 781-572-7543. So calling me is the best way.
At the Burlington Public Library, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Halsford.
Earlier this month, State Representative Ken Gordon joined his colleagues in favor of passing a bill to engage the opioid epidemic. The House approved the Comprehensive Addiction Resource Emergency, or CARE Act, addressing the issue of opioid addiction in the state of Massachusetts. The CARE Act includes a number of provisions to improve the treatment of opioid addiction and prevent drug abuse. The bill includes prescription reforms to help officials better supervise opioid use and increases access to anti-opioid overdose drugs such as Naxalon, naloxone, or Narcan. Prescription opioids used for pain relief are generally safe when taken for a short time as prescribed by a doctor, but they can be misused. People misuse prescription opioids by taking the medicine in a way or dose other than prescribed, taking someone else's prescription medicine, or taking the medicine for the effect it causes to get high, says a June 2018 article from the National Institute on Drug Abuse. According to that March 2018 article from the National Institute on Drug Abuse, more than 115 people in the United States die per day after overdosing on opioids. An estimated 2 million people in the country this year suffer from substance abuse related to opioid pain relievers. Massachusetts was among the top 10 states with the highest rates of opioid-related overdose deaths. One way the bill will help keep opioids off the street is to require pharmacies to adhere to consumer requests for partial prescriptions. Currently, if a patient wants just, for example, 4 or 5 tablets from a prescription of 40, he or she can receive the lower amount, but the prescription is then canceled and more pills are not available, if needed, until it is refilled with another copay. This bill would address that issue. It's been a hot and humid week, and to see if that trend will continue, we go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown in our Weather Center for the latest forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Maddie Shipka to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days, and I'm sure you're probably really looking forward to maybe it drying out a little bit soon. It's been a little bit wet around here in the Burlington area, and unfortunately though, it doesn't look like that pattern is going to be changing much over the next 7 days. As you can see here, starting at our period on Thursday, we're looking temperatures pretty much where they should be at this time of the year, in the mid-80s. And look at this again at nighttime. If you have to be out at all, you're going out shopping, going out to dinner, anywhere in the Burlington area, it is going to be humid and very mild. So really only getting down into the lower 70s, and we may have a couple of nights where the low temperatures may not get below the mid-70s in the next 7 days. So very sticky regime out there. Pretty typical for this time of the year, but something that we really would like to get out of. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be doing that. Now look at this, getting towards the end of the period. Can you believe it? We're already looking at August 1st. I know that's incredible to think that meteorological summer is 2/3 of the way over almost. But of course, our temperatures are still beautiful at that time of the year in the lower and mid-80s, and that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing, pretty nice temps. And of course, the only other thing that you've been noticing is the days are getting shorter now. So that's definitely a sign that we will inevitably be going on towards the fall season, but not any cool weather coming yet, that's for sure. Now, as we go ahead, let me show you a little bit what's going to be going on with our weather for the next 7 days. And if you think this map kind of resembles what we saw last week, then you're definitely right, because we're going to see again this upper level low that's spinning still up over central and eastern Canada. And it's going to keep this stationary boundary over our area going all the way down towards the Carolinas. Now, what that's going to provide with us for here in the Burlington area is a continual flow out of the south coming up off of the Atlantic. And that's going to bring the chance of scattered showers and some heavy thunderstorms almost every day for the next 7 days. So if you've been in any areas where you've been getting lots and lots of rain, expect to see probably pretty much more of the same. And it looks like here in the Burlington area, we may start to see a little bit more in terms of rain than we've seen over the past week. And looking towards the end of the period, we're going to see another high pressure center up in central Canada try and nudge this front out of the area, but it is going to have kind of a difficult time. So we may be stuck in this regime for quite a while. As we go ahead and look at the upcoming temperatures in the weather for the next 7 days, you're definitely going to see that reflected in our highs. There really isn't much change in our high temperatures or even our low temperatures, for that matter of fact, as we get through the end of next week. Now, of course, on Friday, this is going to be the one pretty warm day, and I'd say probably out of the next 7 days, if you're going to be away on vacation at all, that's going to probably be the pick of the days. It's going to be a little bit of a break from the showers and thunderstorms, and temperatures pretty hot, up near 90, but very high humidity levels again, so no relief from the humidity in sight. And of course, once we get back to Saturday, starting out your weekend, we're going to introduce the chance of showers and thunderstorms back into the area. Temperatures pretty warm, pretty sticky. Now on Sunday, we may get a little bit of reprieve from the humidity for a bit, as we might see a cooling sea breeze trying to come in all the way into the Burlington area. That may knock our temps back a couple of degrees, maybe a little bit more at night. But then as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and out onto Wednesday, look at this. Back up into the mid-80s, and the nighttime lows getting warm again, up there into the mid and upper 60s. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, stay dry, and have a great week.
I'm Maddie Shipka, and this is your Community Calendar. Come celebrate a special birthday for the boy who lived. On Tuesday, July 31st, from 7 to 8 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be celebrating Harry Potter's birthday. Come and enjoy Harry Potter-themed games, crafts, and birthday cake. The event is recommended for kids in grades 3 and up. The event is also free. For more information, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. Spend a day on a beautiful Massachusetts island. On Saturday, August 4th, the Burlington Rec Department is having a day trip to Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard is rich in history and a favorite summer haven for many notables over the years. The day trip includes a round-trip ferry, an island tour, and free time for lunch on your own, and an opportunity to shop and browse. Everyone is welcome, and the cost of the trip is $99 per person. Pre-registration is required. For more information and to register, visit burlingtonrecreation.org or call 781-270-1695. Come and learn about safety. On August 13th through 15th, the Burlington Police Department will be having their 48th annual Safety Town in the Burlington Mall auto parking lot. Your child will learn about pedestrian, bus, and traffic safety. The event is for kids entering kindergarten and first grade. Pre-registration is required. To register and for more information, visit www.simon.com/mall/burlington-mall. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your Community Calendar.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week we have a bright, colorful shot from a Burlington garden. My garden, actually. It's a purple petunia that we grew this summer. Petunias have a long and storied history. Mayan and Incan people believed that they had the power to chase away underworld monsters and spirits. In other folklore, petunias will thrive in areas of positive energy, but will wither away in places of negative energy. When given as a gift, petunias have two strangely opposed meanings. On the one hand, they can signify being comfortable with someone, but on the other, they can represent anger or resentment. It might be a good idea to provide a card along with the flowers that clearly articulates your meaning. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your door, or photos of your family, friends, and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line, Photo of the Week. And that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, Tad Stefanak, Robert Parris, John Vias, Peter Brown, and Maddie Shipka. Thank you for joining us.